Did you follow Baldur's Gate 3 much?
I've been playing a bit of it.
Okay. What do you think of that?
I love Baldur's Gate. I'm a huge Dungeons and Dragons fan. Here, I'll give you a glimpse there.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, for audio listeners, shelves lined and lined.
So if you researched my career, which I assume you did, you'll know that I also worked at TSR for many years writing Dungeons and Dragons products. So D&D is very, very close to my heart. And I think Baldur's Gate is a triumph of trying to make the tabletop experience actually happen right there in the computer. It's my hat's off to Larry and the groups there. And I know one of the guys there, Lawrence Schick. He's one of the senior designers there, and he's responsible for a lot of the coolness that you see.
Yeah. What stands out to you when you're playing Baldur's Gate of like, God, how did they pull this off?
Probably the thing, other people have commented on this too, but the thing that at Bethesda we could never get ourselves to do, and that is that they poked into all the darkest corners. They've come out and said quite bluntly, we don't care if only 1% of the players will ever see this. Those 1% that do are going to be happy, and they will tell the other 99%, who will then be happy that the option existed.
Yeah.
And at Bethesda, the games we were making were so big, we had to take the approach of, well, everybody's got to be able to do this at some point. We can't lock off content that way. And you can see it in our games. We don't. You can get to be the heads of all the guilds. You can be friends with all the companions. You can go to all the places. Nothing is off limits. But when you play Baldur's Gate 3, you get the impression, rightly so, that this decision I'm about to make will close off parts of the game and open up others.
Yeah.
And it's meaningful. That means something.
And so
that's a big deal.
It's a big deal because you see the thousands of fights and thousands of man hours that goes into that belief of like, we don't want to close anything off, or we do want to close things off. Therefore, we're going to be just pouring, just the way it multiplies the amount of work that you have to put into the game is astronomical.
It does. And you have to acknowledge that, I'm just going to pull numbers out of my ass here. Any one player is only going to see 50% of the game.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And furthermore, the work that I do as an individual developer may only be seen by 5% of the people out there. I mean, that's a little disheartening, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, bro, what parts do you work on? Oh, this thing over here that hardly anybody ever gets to.
And so it's just the scale and the budget of Bethesda's games. I'm sure you had those debates internally and just realized, like, we can't take that risk.
Yeah. Well, we were also in the business of making games that people would play for hundreds of hours. And if you cut out 50% of your game, they're not going to play for hundreds of hours now. They've only got 50 hours they can play because you cut off half of it.
Interesting. Sure.
But, I mean, you got benefit for that, the benefit I just talked about. Every decision feels highly meaningful, you know, whereas very few of the decisions in a Bethesda game feel highly meaningful. You maybe get to make 3 or 4 of those. And we tried to make those really big and important, but, you know, you get to make 3 or 4 highly important decisions in the game.
Yeah. With Baldur's Gate 3, it's the last thing I'm going to ask about this game. But yeah, I'm just curious, like lore-wise, what stands out to you outside of, you know, that idea of locking out content? What else stands out to you just for the angle they took for Baldur's Gate 3?
The incredible breadth of everything. And this may be me in particular, because I grew up in first and second edition D&D traditions. The whole idea of having that outrageous mix of races and starting off your campaign fighting mind flayers and stuff like that. I mean, that's just not something that would happen. But Larian said, no, everything goes in. You know, there's no limits to where you start. You know, your first friend is a Githyanki. You go, what? You know, so the breadth of what they did is, I think, really a testament to the quality of the work they did.
If you thought, hey, this video wasn't bad, well, there's a whole lot more like it on MinnMax's YouTube channel. Please help us out by subscribing to our channel and checking out the MinnMax Show podcast, also available on your favorite podcast app, the best, most thorough discussion about games on the internet with the deepest dive, our monthly community trivia show with prizes called Trivia Tower, and a whole lot more. Thanks so much for your support, everybody. All you gotta do is click that subscribe button. We'd really appreciate it.